very much. So yeah, I think not only when we talk about businesses, projects itself, or even being a father and a mother is about being an entrepreneur as well. So, but I think I just want to share some kind of key learnings. I've been meditating along the time, and analyzing along the time. So first of all, I think from my experience, working not only bootstrapping and coming up with businesses, startups, companies intensive in technology, also with working for conglomerates, and also my experience as a teacher and professor in business schools and universities. I think uh, you know ideas should be when we come up with ideas, should be um, meaningful ideas, and for that reason, and I agree with a wide variety of speakers mentioning this before here and in other summits and panels. For that reason, you need to have some kind of a structure in your mind. Otherwise, maybe it's an exception, but it's complicated. You need to be curious. You need to be curious, and reading a lot. And it's something I'm missing from many C-level executives nowadays. The majority of them, uh, read emails, but not really a wide variety of books. Not only technical books, a wide variety. So from psychology to international relations, politics, poetry, philosophy, essays, liberal arts in general. So I think that's very it's crucial for not only for entrepreneurs, for human beings in general, to deal with tons of problems, situations, challenges, etc. So for that reason, I think shallow ideas are worth very little. So and also I think it's another learning from my side is it's okay if you are a leader, if you are a distinguished person, because you have a growth mind instead of a decline or a closed mind. But in the end, you need to be wise at teaming up. You need to also to try to enroll for your projects, or organize a good team, because in the end, execution is everything, also in life. So to be dealing in your mind with ideas is at some point easy, and to share these ideas with pals and friends, etc., with your peers and colleagues is also easy. But execution is everything in life, and especially in business, and you need to take into consideration many things. um, Also, I think becoming successful in life and in business especially is more about your mindset. And for that reason, you need to be open every single day to dialogue with every single person. Probably you don't need to follow the advice of every single person, but you need to try to listen carefully to massively to many people, to try to get insights that are going to be useful for your life and for your projects. um, and that's also it's going to encourage your psychology, your determination, for sure. So another thing is that because I think another speaker mentioned in the in earlier. So start today. So and yeah, it's okay. As mentioned before, you can listen to everybody, but don't really have an impact of rumors or different echoes from negativity, etc. So, but you need to start today. The only true learn is learning by doing, and you can't afford to sit around waiting for funding, hoping someone else will come along to help you to execute your idea. You need to really be the leader of your ideas, and then teaming up but you need to start today. Don't try to avoid to make excuses, because it's normal. It's going to happen. So making excuses that it's complicated, or some people or some sector is telling that it's impossible, that it's not the right time, or no one is going to work for you within this project, etc. So you need to try to avoid excuses. Another thing, which is a little bit, it's you need to try to as soon as possible to look for your own voice. In the end, we're learning imitating since we are kids, but at some point you need to find your own voice, your own spirit, your own vision. Analyzing and doing benchmarking and getting key learnings from your itinerary in life. But as soon as possible, you need to come up with something distinguished from the rest. And another thing important is as soon as possible to not only to think, only to meditate. To me, it's been critical also for the resilience to practice yoga. So I don't want to force anyone, or I don't want to tell that yoga should be key for any entrepreneur or person in life. Probably it's this is more related to the aphorism, health body and health mind, to get a balanced body and a balanced mind to be successful, and to really be able to have some kind of quietness to deal with uncertainty and stability, etc., which are things that not only for an entrepreneur, for everybody we're facing every day. So in the end, you need to have some time to be quiet and to meditate. To me, it's been critical, the practice of yoga. But you need to find your own physical activity or a sport. Maybe you can get this from basketball or from football. To me, yoga has been really useful to learn how to manage your time, but not only yearly or monthly, every day. How to manage the time and decide which opportunities you need to pursue, or the opportunities to pursue will greatly impact your success when starting a project. And many times outsource everything you can, so that you can focus on doing what only you can do in your business. I think it's and probably this is this sounds kind of obvious, but it's not. In life, many times you get the point, or you're not really focused on what really cares for your life and for your business and for your project. So another thing is that you can do everything in your power to avoid spending money when you start a business or a project. So my advice is build a lean solution that provides value to your customers, not only to customers, to citizens, to people, and only spend money on the absolute essentials at the moment you need them. Okay. And this is key, and that's why it's important to be really balanced, to be really focused in life, to be able to come up with leadership related to this. Another thing is that you can never stop building meaningful relationships. If I mentioned in the very beginning that you need to try to be a structure in mind and in your life to solve critical problems and to come up with meaningful ideas, etc., you need to try to build meaningful relationships and also around the world, locally speaking, and around the world. And also when you travel, try to avoid to be superficial, because I remember, in the coming years, interviewing people, and it's been shocking. People in theory with MBAs, with a strong academic background, and people, that has been traveling around the world, and it's been shocking to me when I talk to them in the interview, and it's like, okay, so you studied economics. Oh yeah, great. Can you mention a professor that influenced you the most, or can you tell me about some kind of author in that area, critical for you in your development, or your views in life about the countries, the what's going on around the world, etc. And the majority of people is unable to and they say, I don't really remember. I should check my notes, or I should check again, because I don't really have someone specific to mention here. Or, okay, I've seen that you've been traveling to Asia, so can you tell me something about, in this case, Japan? And it was kind of a joke when I used to face many people telling me that it was a long distance trip, or the food was delicious, and nothing beyond that. So I think one of the problems the world is facing is in comparison probably to when I was very, when I was a kid, is the everything is very superficial. Our politicians are superficial, not balanced. The new writers or the new authors, in comparison to other centuries, are very superficial, and I think it's something we need to avoid if we really move forward and really solve the problems within cities, etc. Something I'm facing, and I think when we travel, we need to try to dig into and profoundly, the culture, the customs. Also, I remember when I was traveling, the first time I went to Hong Kong, I wasn't there only for partying. Partying is okay, but I was there also to analyze the tax system and the economic system, which now it's quite many people could consider is not as advanced as in the 80s or 90s when I was going there. So and another thing, and probably the last thing, so I could recommend to focus on achieving small incremental goals. So otherwise it's very frustrating. So I think this is more intelligent and wise, rather than trying to start a business and instantly build everything, build your vision of what the company should be in the years to come. So I think something I'm perceiving from people younger than me, and I'm in my 40s, is that they want to be a CEO very soon, and they want to really you know, they're setting really not realistic goals many times, and they, especially I felt this with the pandemic, so they were kind of thinking about being rich, being millionaires, or being really successful, or being on mass media massively, and now they are stuck at some point, and they are, many of them are getting into depression, and they thought this was they expect things happen really quick, and you need to, that's why I also recommended meditation and yoga, because you need to understand that things, you know, important things take time, and you need to really set up small goals, and step by step being growing with the successful, and also with the failures, because failures are also you know, essential for your personal growth. So in Mediterranean areas, so Spain, Italy, Portugal, I think we are learning that there's another problem that probably, I don't know, because we have a strong Catholic background, or I don't know why, but whenever you start, if you fail, it's kind of a stigma. It's very different from something that I really admire from Anglo countries, or many other countries, many other cultures, that in the United States, I still remember when I was studying and living there, that it's something that in many jobs, they don't hire you if you don't really have failures in your life, or beyond that, if you don't really have key learnings from the stoppers, from the bad moments in your life, or your failures, etc. So it's something that sums up, but not in countries like my country. So it's something we need to fix. But again, and to finish with, in the end, so great and major things take time. So also now, for sure, the revolution we are facing is because of the computers and internet, which I think it's going to be considered one of the major revolutions in history, more important than the French Revolution, than the Constantinople fall, and the print moment. But now I think we are also getting advantage from the outputs other generations you know, came with. For instance, when we talk about now artificial intelligence, in the end we're talking about machine learning and different intelligence coming from mathematics, and the major discoveries of you know, also the base of what is happening right now. It's coming from the 20th century, the very beginning. So the algorithms, the majority of algorithms were created. The critical algorithms were created in the very beginning of the 20th century. So also with many other discoveries in physics, or so I think we need to try to be less cocky. I'm talking about my generation and the new ones, and try to really dig into more into the past, because if you want to be an avant-garde person, you want to set up an avant-garde way of thinking, or avant-garde project, you need to be, you know, at some point you need to be a traditionalist. You know, you need to be someone who has been really digging profoundly into the past, and being less cocky.
Listen, thanks so much for that. One point I'd like to take is the fear of failure in so many cultures, not only Latin cultures. It's kind of a very Anglo-Saxon thing that it's okay to fail. Try failing in Japan to see what happens, right? And nothing Latin about the Japanese culture. How do you think the teenagers could, ignore these kind of pressures, regardless of where they're coming from?
I mean, probably they shouldn't ignore, but they need to be, as open-minded as possible to really jump, from this kind of culture, because in the end, so it's clear that you learn a lot from failures. I think you need, it has to do with your with the structure of your mind. If you have a very good structure, I think you can be stronger than your culture, and you can choose different cultures depending on the moment of the scenario you're facing. But I know it's complicated. I know it's complicated, and it's something you need to be working on and learning how to face this. But it's clear that if you are able to learn from failures, and to also to not only to learn yourself, to be able to really have a storytelling, a good storytelling around this, you're going to be able to really present yourself better and to take advantage of this. If not, you're going to be stuck. You're going to be I think you're not going to be able to face new challenges, and you're going to feel you know even sometimes, because I've seen this, a subhuman. Many people, it's kind of okay, they don't really have confidence in themselves because they went unable to manage the failure correctly, or they are really very submissive in their own cultures. But it's complicated.
Yeah, one of the ideas that I had in mind is that if you're in a culture that will crush you if you fail, you could try to conceal yourself from allowing others to see you're failing by doing stuff online, right? I mean,
Yeah,
if you're a bright kid in Yokohama and you want to figure out how to get comic books from the US into Japan, people don't even know that you're doing this until you're successful. So I guess it's we could have some sort of an engine, kind of a playbook for teenagers who wants to learn how to become entrepreneurial that is really safe for them to try. One of the ideas, I don't think I shared that with you, but is to create a teenage entrepreneurship bundle, like a box that has everything they need to figure out if that's something they want to do. There are a couple of ideas. I'd say that the more realistic one is a company who is actually one of the Wisdom Accelerator speakers. He has Chinese tea company that sells capsules that would fit in a typical Keurig machine, which is super common in US, the K cups, similar to an espresso in Europe. It doesn't work in espresso because no, the pressure is too high, but Keurig is perfect, and he has a solution that can be used by millions of people that have similar machines in the US and around the world. And he's also selling his own machine. So his website, and this speaker is basically the president of the US China Chamber of Commerce in Los Angeles. I mean, he's obviously a very senior person. He started doing this business because he saw an opportunity, and he's doing really, really well. Now, one of his bundles is a gift set. And my suggestion to him is that why don't you create a similar gift set for teenagers that grandpa, grandma, uncle, auntie will be buying, for whatever, 99.99, and that has a machine, beautiful cups that I can try to use, and lots of those capsules. And this is like a grant. Like literally, grandpa is giving you $100 to learn if you want to be an entrepreneur. And inside the box, you have the machine, the cups, the capsules, and the business plan. Like set up your tea shop. You're not going to make anyone sick with a highly industrialized and processed teacup that is sealed with a life cycle of 2 years. So it's not like lemonade. Those lemons may not be ideal for consumption. That's not a risk I have here. And give it a go, right? And just tell the teenagers, look, the business plan, if you're between 13 and 17 and you want to learn how to run a business, this is like an angel investor that is giving you a grant and costs you nothing to try out on your time. And you can set up a special occasion, get mommy to make some cookies, and you go to your garden and you start selling those teacups for $2, for $3, whatever it is, telling people that the money is going to be used for your favorite charity, or you're going to be putting that on a fund for your education. Now, you can get started with a very simple business. People come over, have tea and cookies. You're learning like 80% of what you need to do another business once you recognize the opportunity. So it's going to be far more likely that if you're ready to try to be an entrepreneur because you learn the ropes. So what are your thoughts in terms of setting up something along those lines? And the teacup story is just a good example because I know the manufacturer. But what are your thoughts in terms of if you were a teenager and someone gave you that box, what would you have done with it?
I think it's a great idea. Also, I think that this connects with something I've been promoting, especially in Spain and in a group, and I think we've gotten finally good results. Is the sandbox. Really finally it's going to be operating in Spain in a couple of weeks. Also, why not a sandbox for teenagers? Because this sandbox in the end is for startups, to be supported, by the state, by the regulators, to really at some point to come up with MVPs to products, and then how that products can be operating in compliance with the regulation, etc., and then to see if the regulation is really really boosting innovation or not, etc. Why not for teenagers? Why not starting not with fintechs and with travel techs, etc. No, with teenagers and with projects of teenagers supported by nationally or at European level by the government. If they feel they can be free in terms of coming up with ideas, crazy ideas or not in the very beginning, and then turn that ideas into projects, and then they can also at some part of the process, at some stage, to fail, but then recover again and then come up with a better product. If they feel that when they are kids, when they are teenagers, I think it's gonna be better for the country, for the continent, for sure. I think it's something that we should promote also from the grown-ups, to promote for them in the coming future. I think that could help, because they need to feel everything is possible as soon as possible. When they're teenagers. If not, they can be after their master's degrees or PhDs, that they can be really cautious at saying this kind of thing or coming up with this kind of project or this idea or this brainstorming, because that cannot be successful, and then it can have an impact on their lives and their future career, etc.
Oh, it's cool. So I'm glad to have a conversation. I mean, I hadn't considered requiring government support for this because it's so small, right? This is literally a box you can buy on the internet that has a business plan for teenagers inside. But governments may be interested in supporting multiple product lines that teenagers can sell to become entrepreneurs. And of course, either the mother or the father will be the ones signing all the contracts, right? Of course, if you're selling tea in your garden, no major commercial arrangements are required, but for a few other activities like online buying and selling, we need to also better understand the legislation of the different countries when it comes to what they're allowed to do or not. But that's very easy to fix. No, it's basically daddy's business, mommy's business, but the teenager's running all of it, and of course the money should go to the teenager. So that would be a nice thing to discuss in the future. And yeah, I guess thank you for your time. Thanks for sharing your thoughts.
Thanks.
And,
Thanks.
wishing you all the best in Madrid. So we can try to catch up to do a
Sure.
movida at some point in time when all the bars are open again.
For sure. Thank you very much to all the organization, and happy holidays and Christmas for all.